Hello everyone, welcome back to Priyan classes. I'm Prabhat Kumar. Last two videos I have explained you about the concepts of the topic of probability, and as I have promised you that I will be taking one video over more for some specific questions on the different topics which I have explained in my previous two videos. So today we are starting with those questions. I have selected some of the questions for some typical questions from different books. So now I will be taking the questions one by one, and I will explain you how to deal with those questions. So the first question that I am taking is, what the question is saying, if the letters of the word assassination are arranged at random, find the probability that four S's come consecutively in the word. I am taking the same question. I will just change the conditions, and each condition will be giving you a different answer. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you one thing. In case of arrangement of letters in a word, you don't have to bother about the meaning of the word. The words may be with meaning, may be without meaning. Okay, so now when I look at the word assassination, if I arrange it, now you see it has got how many? If I take A, that means you have got three A's. Okay, then you start with S. You have got four S. Okay, then I have got two I's. Then two N's also. Okay, then there is one T and one O. So that means altogether you have got 13 letters. So when I arrange these all, now just to remember the formula of permutation. In permutation, what we had, just arrangement of 13. So total, first of all, my first job for finding out the probability is to find out the sample space. So for sample space, I have to arrange all these letters. So arrangement means permutation. So my sample space will be permutation, or NS, I would say, permutation of the 13 letters. That will be 13P13. But it will be 13P13. But as I have told you, you must remember from my video or from the chapter of permutation that if there are letters of same kind or similar kind, that means, what does it mean? You are saying that it has got three A's. So it will not be making any difference if the position of these A's are being interchanged. So obviously, so when I have to find out the number of A's, I should divide it by factorial 3 for 3 A's. Similarly, it will be divided by factorial 4 also for 4 S's. Similarly, it will be divided by factorial 2 for 2 I's, and again by factorial 2 for the 2 N's. So this is your sample space, okay, or N sample space. Now, what is my specific condition for? Let A is my specific probability is that the number of ways in which 4 S's are come together. Means all four S's, these all will always be together. So what I will do, I will take this all as one unit. All 4 S's will be taken as one unit, and then I will arrange. If it is taken as one unit, now what is the total number of units remaining? Obviously, out of 13, 4 is taken away, remaining is 9, and for that 4, I am replacing with 1. So my total is 10. So my NA will be what? NA will be 10P10, but once again, okay, I have taken these four as one unit, so I am not changing this, but still I have got 3 A's, so it will be divided by factorial 3. There are 2 I's, so it will be divided by factorial 2. There are 2 N's, so it will be divided by factorial 2. Okay? So now, what will be my probability? Now it is very simple. Probability will be NA over NS. Okay? You have calculated NA, you have calculated NS. Now I think the rest is only calculation. Okay? Rest is only calculation, and that calculation work, I don't want to waste my time in doing the calculation, because I expect that all of you can do the calculation work on yourself, because I have showed you the way, I have showed you the path. Just go on the path and you will be getting the answer. Now what I am doing is, I just change the condition. Okay, I will just change the condition. Now when I change this condition, so my second condition is 2 I's and 2 N's are together. Okay, my condition is that the 2 I's and 2 N's are together. Okay, this is my condition. So on that, what I get is, once again, what I will do. So my condition now be, first of all, sample space, that is thing. Now what is B? B is the condition that the 2 I's and 2 N's can be arranged, are together. Okay, so B is what? 2 I's and 2 N's are together. Now you see, this is not given in the question whether the 2 I's have to be together. It is only saying one thing, that 2 I's and 2 N's have to be at one place. It is not saying whether the 2 I's also have to be one place, or the 2 N's has to be one place, or they may be at different places also in between themselves. So what is happening? I have to take out 2 I's and 2 N's. Now these 4 will be taken as one unit first. So what will be my permutation for NB? First of all, it will be, because now this will be taken as one unit, again my total number of units is reduced to 10, so it will be 10P10 first, then divided by, if it is a one unit, then these two are, it has to be divided for these two, so by divided by factorial 3 and factorial 4. Okay, so these are divided by factorial 3 and factorial 4, but at the same time, as I told you, the I's and the N's can be distributed or can be arranged among themselves. Okay, because it has not been clarified in the question whether it will be IINN or it can be ININ. The only thing is that I's and N's have to be together. They can be arranged among themselves. So along with this, I have to make arrangement or make provision for arrangement of the 4 letters of I's and N's also. So that will be 4P4 divided by, now once again in these two, this is 2 and this is 2, so it will be factorial 2 into factorial 2. Okay, So this is factorial 2 into factorial 2. Now you have got NB. Again, rest is very simple. What will be your probability? NB over NS. And rest is only calculation. So as usual, I am leaving this also for your job. Okay. Now in the same question, suppose that the condition is again changed. All A's are not coming together. But the condition says all A's are not coming together. Again, my first step, as usual, finding out the sample space. Your sample space is same. Because I have taken it as to be same, I want to, I need some space, so I am rubbing this out also. Okay. Now, first of all, what it is saying? It is saying all A's are not coming together. Does it mean that all three A's have to be at different places? Not necessary. Maybe a letter comes between two A's at one place and one A at other place. Maybe all three A's at different places, or two A's at one place, one A at other place, or one A at one place, other two A's at other place. There can be so many arrangements. So what I say is, the best way to find out the probability is find out the probability of the condition when this is not true. Means, if I take C as the cases when all A's are together, what will be this? Okay, obviously, what will be C dash? C dash will be all A's are not together, and this is what I have to find out. And as I have told you, remember, P, probability of C, will be equal to 1 minus probability of C dash, or C complement, or I can also say that probability of C complement as 1 minus PC. It can be written. But now, instead of finding out C dash, because this is my actual requirement, but this is not possible, not directly feasible. So what I do is, I will find out PC, that is all A's are together. And for that, what will be NC? As I have done in the first part of the question, I have taken all A's together when all S has had to be at one place. Similarly, now I will take all these A's as one unit, and if I am taking this as one unit, now what will be the number of units remaining? That will be 1 and plus these 10. Okay, so that will be 11. So now this will be 11p11, but this will be divided by factorial 4, that is for these 4 s's, then factorial 2 for the 2 i's, and factorial 2 for this. So this is what you get, NC. Okay, so if this is NC, then what is PC? PC is your NS divided by, NC. NC divided by NS. So what will be P of C complement? That will be 1 minus NC over NS. So just do the calculation and you will be getting the answer. Okay. Now, in the same condition, in the same question, I am once again changing the condition. I am once again changing the condition, and that condition is that no two A's are coming together. Okay, now you see, just in the previous question, what I had done. What I had done is, I have said that all three A's were not coming together. But in this case, it is saying no two A's will be coming together. If no two A's means ki that condition that I was taking is that two A's may be at one place or two A's may come at consecutive places. That place is not to be taken. Okay. So now what will be what we are going to get is, suppose that we take one condition D, that no two A's are together. Okay. 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 So this is what D I have taken, that no two A's are together. Now if I have to find out what will be the probability of D, how will we do? First I will take, just leave all A's. Okay. I will leave all A's. What is the number of remaining letters is 10. So number of arrangements for remaining 10. What it is? This is obviously, first I will take 10p10, then divided by factorial 4 for the 4 s's, then divided by factorial 2 for the 2 i's, and then divided by factorial 2 for 2 n's. Okay. Now, as the question is saying no two A's have to be together, so obviously the three A's which I have left here, those will be placed somewhere in the places between the letters. So if 10 letters have been arranged, I am having 11 places that is to be filled by the three A's. Okay, 11 places by the three A's. That means I have to make arrangement of the three A's at 11 places, or I can say it is arrangement of the three A's at the 11 places. So now arrangement of three A's at 11 vacant places. What it will be? Obviously, this will be 11p3, but since the three A's are identical, so it has to be divided by factorial 3 also. So either you take this or you take selection of any three cases. You can also make it as 11c3. You can do it both ways. It is not going to make any difference. Okay, so I will take this one only, 11p3 divided by factorial 3. So now what will be my total number of arrangements, or ND? My ND will be first this arrangement, that is 10p10 divided by factorial 4 into factorial 2 into factorial 2 multiplied by arrangement of the three A's, that is 11p3 divided by factorial 3. Okay, this is the arrangement. And as usual, now probability of D will be just N of D divided by N of S. So this is just, I have taken one condition and one question, and this one question I have given you 4 different conditions with 4 different conditions, with 4 different answers, with four different ways, or with 4 different concepts to solve the questions. Okay, now I am going on to the second question. Okay, so now the second question I have taken from the conditional part, where the conditional probability you have to find out. Condition is what? A die is thrown 3 times. The condition is if the first throw is 4, first throw gives you 4, then what is the probability of getting the total sum of the 3 throws as 15? Okay, so if I say what will be the first throw, so that will be, obviously, what will be my all outputs? If I find out in this, if I find out NS, obviously first throw gives you 6 options, second throw also gives you 6 options, and third throw also gives you 6 options. So total is 6 by 6 by 6. Okay, but if I say A is getting 15 as a sum, and B is getting 4 in the first throw. Okay, so in the first throw, what will be my condition of getting first throw? Or if I say, if both conditions are to be satisfied, okay, that means I have to find out A, probability of what I have to find out. I have to find out probability of A on the condition that the first throw is 4, that is on the condition of B. Okay, or I can say I have to find out probability of A on the condition that B has already occurred, or I have to find out the probability of getting 15 as a sum on the condition that first throw is a 4. Okay, so what we do in these cases? Now first thing you see, whatever number comes in the first throw, is it going to affect what you are getting in the second throw? No way. So these are, all these 3 events, all these 3 throws are mutually exclusive events. I don't say exhaustive, I am just saying these are mutually exclusive events. So in that case, what will be P of A intersection P? First thing, I will find out what is PB. Okay, can you find out what is the sample space, or A oblique B, of which probability that is this probability, all the number elements are, if your first throw you are getting 4, obviously, and you have to get the, so, and if second throw if you are getting 1, is it possible to get 15? No way. Even if it is 4, then 4 plus 4 8, then the third throw requires 7, which is not feasible. A die has got only 6 faces, so it can, maximum value it can give is 6. So it can be 4, 5, 6, or the second option can be 4, 6, 5. Okay, so this is your A intersection B, I can say it as A intersection B when both conditions are satisfied. So n of A intersection B will be what? 2. There are only 2 elements in this. Okay. Now, what is probability of A intersection B or NB? That means getting 4 in the first throw. Obviously, other 2 throws may be anything. So, what is B or NB? Only the from the first throw, you have got only one option. Only 4 has to be taken. But there is no restrictions on the other 2 throws. So, other 2 throws both will be getting 6 and 6 options. So, this will be equal to 36. Now, what is probability of A, B? This is what I have told, given you the formula. It is A intersection B divided by P probability of B. Okay? It is A intersection B divided by probability of B. So, what is A intersection? NS, I have given you this. So, probability of A intersection will be 2 / 6 into 6 into 6 divided by 36 over 6 into 6 into 6. Obviously, these two will be cancelled. And the remaining is 2 by 36, or I can say 1 by 18. This is your answer. Okay. So, this is how you have to identify the conditions. Which condition has to be fulfilled and probability of which condition you have to find out. Okay. So, now I am going to take on the third question. So, this is the third question. The third question says a bag contains 4 white balls, 7 black balls and 5 red balls. 3 balls are drawn or taken out from the bag one by one, and as the question says, without replacement, means the once the ball is taken out, it has not been put back before taking out the second. Okay. So, 3 balls are drawn one by one. What is the probability that the balls are white, black and red? Okay. That means my sequence of drawing the balls should be white, red, black. Okay. Now, what I take, just let the events A is getting a white ball. Okay. B, you take getting a black ball. Okay. And C, I will take getting a red ball. Okay. Now, it's a very simple question. If you look at it, it is a very simple question. In the first draw, the probability of getting a white ball in the first draw. So, what will be my probability? That I have to find out all these three conditions. That means it is I have to find out probability of A intersection B intersection C. Okay. That means in the first throw in the first draw I have to get a white ball. So what will be the probability? What is the total number of balls? 4 plus 7 plus 5, that is 16 balls. Okay. So if it is 16 balls, so my first probability of getting a white balls out of 16 balls, because there are 4 white balls, so it will be 4, or I can say it is probability of A, what I have told you, probability of A multiplied by probability of B when A has already occurred. Okay. Then this will be multiplied by probability of C when both A and B have occurred. Okay, so first thing, probability of getting A in the first draw, that will be 4 by 16, because in this case sample space will be 16 and my NA, the number of events, favorable events, is 4, so it will be 4 by 16 multiplied by, now one white ball has been taken out. On this condition, what is the remaining number of balls? One has been taken out, so remaining is now 15. Out of this 15, you have got 7 black balls. Now you have to get a black ball, so you have to, so my probability will be now 7 by 15. Now the third case, first ball taken out, white ball, second ball taken out, black ball. Now what is the remaining? Out of 16, the remaining number of balls is 14. Okay, so now my sample space will become 14, and out of that 14 I have to take out a red ball. The number of remaining red balls is 5, so it will be 5 over 14. So rest is only calculations that you can do. I am not going to do the calculation work because that is not going to take any difficulty for you. Okay, so now this is my fourth question. Again, this question is based on some conditional probability, or some specific conditions are given, but the condition is somewhat complicated in this. What it is saying that first of all a coin is tossed. Now the second thing, the second event depends on what is the outcome of the first. That is, if the first shows, if the coin shows a head, then the coin will be tossed in the second. Okay. Now if the first shows tails, then instead of coin, a die will be thrown. So what are the possible outcomes? First I will find out S. What it is said, if the coin shows head, then the coin will be tossed once again. So in the second throw, your possible outcomes will be either head or tail. So either your outcome will be, combined outcome will be either HH or HT. Okay. Now if the first throw or the first tossing of coin shows tails, then now the coin is not tossed but the die is thrown, and the die will be giving you 6 options. So this will be T1 or T2 or T3 or T4 or T5 or T6. So these are the all possible outcomes, but since both the activities like throwing a coin and throwing a, or I should say tossing a coin and throwing a die, is not giving the same number of outputs or same number of possible outputs, so it is not possible for me to find out the probability of any of these directly. Okay, so for that purpose, in all cases I will find out, suppose that I have to find out probability of getting HH. That means in the first throw, you are getting H, so it will be 1 by 2 multiplied by, again in the second throw of the coin you are getting 1 by 2, so this will be 1 by 4. Okay. Similarly, if I have to, if I am getting HT, see HH is not just 1 by 8, because what is NS? NS is, you have got 8 options, but it is not 1 by 8. Similarly, HT, it will be also 1 by 2 and 1 by 2, that is 1 by 4. It is also not 1 by 8. But if you go for T1, that means tails in the tossing of coin, then the die was thrown and you are getting the number 1. So that will be getting a tail in the tossing of coin is 1 by 2 and getting 1 in tossing a die is 1 by 6. So my result is 1 by 12. Similarly, I can find out for all others also. Okay, now I have to find out that the die shows a number greater than 8, greater than 4, given that there is at least one tail. So what are those? Greater than these two. But I cannot directly join this. It is given that it has got at least one tail. Out of those options, I have to find out. So I will now take, instead of use this, first I will take A as the option of getting the number, because the die shows the number greater than 4. Okay, and B I will take, there is at least one tail. Okay, I should not have rubbed that sample space also, but anyway, now what are those cases? What are those cases? So probability of getting at least one tail, as you must have seen in the sample space, there were 7 cases when you were getting tail, not 6. If it was tail in the first tossing of dice, then obviously it was having at least one tail. But there was, even if you were getting heads in the first tossing of the coin, you could have got tails in the second tossing. Okay, so that was also a case. So I will just add, if I have to find out PB, that will be all sum of all. So first was 1 by 4 plus 1 by 12 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 plus 1 by 12. Okay, so if you add up all these, what you get is, the answer will be, I am directly writing this, the answer will be 3 by 4. Okay, now what is probability of A intersection B? That means you are getting tails also and you are getting the number greater than 4 also. That is only in 2 cases. Either you are getting the throw of dice, so first thing, the first throw should be having tails, and the second throw of dice is giving you either 5 or 6. So there are only 2 cases. So P A intersection B is what? P A intersection B is 1 by 12 plus 1 by 12, that is 1 by 6. Okay, now what I have to find out? Probability that the die shows the number greater than 4 on the condition that there is at least one tail on the, or probability of occurrence of A on the condition that B has already occurred, or I can say I have to find out probability of A over B. So what this will be? Probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. Now both things you have got. I know what is A intersection B. I know what is PB. So these both things I can find out. Rest is your calculation work. So as usual, once again I am leaving the remaining work for you. There are some more questions which I had been selected, but due to paucity of time, I am not able to take all those questions in one video. So you can understand the problem. So let me take one more video. I will be giving one more video for you for the remaining questions that I have selected. So till then, I am winding up this class. So I once again request all of you, just keep on watching my videos and just press the like button and the bell icon, subscribe my videos, subscribe my channel, and press the like button as well as the bell icon, so that you can get all the upcoming notifications in respect of my upcoming videos. Okay, so till then, goodbye.